Cindy, when you pop in here, Cindy's great. She usually catches these live all the time. My audio wasn't working. It was on this weird little loop. So let's make sure it's working properly. Cindy, if you happen to have caught this, let me know if this is working properly. I was having weird audio issues just now. And it was on this weird loop. So sorry about that. Okay, it's totally working. Awesome. Take two. So hi, good morning. Today I'm going to talk about, for the second time, I totally got into my intro, but I didn't get too far, about getting out the door on time as a big family. It can be a real logistical feat, and sometimes it can bring up tension and stress between husband and wife when it's, common scenario. It's happened to me. It's happened to friends of mine. We're chatting about it in the group. And it's about, feeling like your husband is got it so easy. He just has to get himself ready, get in the car and drive. Awesome. Yeah, Cindy, the word sounds totally working. So take two. And then meanwhile, mom, full-time stay-at-home, big family mom like myself, I have had Sundays where I have been scrambling to coordinate everybody because most days of the week, I'm the keeper of the home. I'm in charge. I run the home. I run it like a pro. I run it like a smooth ship. So Sunday mornings, I do the major coordination of getting us out the door. But I will admit there's been times when my husband's on his second cup of coffee and I haven't even had my first. And I start to feel that resentment brimming. So there's two parts I'm going to unpack today. One is kind of like the relationship dynamic and how to handle it if you are feeling like I'm getting to church, for example, on a Sunday morning or getting anywhere when my husband and I are doing it together, it's stressing me out. So we'll talk about that. And then I'll share with you my simple strategies of how I do get out the door on time. First, church is a great example because it's a regular, every week, same time, same place. So I have a pattern. I have a system that I use step by step. And once everybody's used to it, it works like a charm. It works really smoothly. It brings down the stress. And step number one is recognizing that my husband and I, we're in this together. We chose to trust God with the size of our family and to trust him with all of the logistics, the finances, the how are we going to pay for that? What kind of vehicle are we going to drive? How are we going to have a home that's going to house us all, at least, safely? All the logistics we entrusted to God with this radical trust. And so the nitty gritty is I don't do everything myself. I do the bulk, the lion's share of managing the affairs of the home. My husband works a full-time job. We have two businesses. So he works on his own business as a handyman. So he's gone most days of the week, taking care of us, working his job, being an honorable man. And I'm at home with the kids. I homeschool. So this is my full-time gig. And I also have a business that I run part-time on the side, helping other big family moms. So we've got a lot going on. We also have agreed that when it comes to divvying up labor, I do a lot of the home stuff, but there are tasks that I've unashamedly said, "Hon, I'm gonna need." I ask for your help in certain areas. Like when he comes home at the end of the day after supper, we divide and conquer because there's little kids, I got middle kids, and I got teens right now. And when they were really little and we had no buddy system even possible, like 7 under 7, a 7-year-old can help somewhat, but not the same way a 17-year-old can help. Then we really had to divide and conquer, especially for those high traffic times of the day, like after supper, the bedtime routine, or getting out the door to church, for example. We just had to divide and conquer. And part of that started with an agreement that we negotiated together. So if you haven't done this already and you're feeling stressed out, resentful, envious even of your husband and how easy he has it getting out the door to go to church, for example, then I would suggest it's time to just have a gracious, loving, do it when you're calm conversation, pull an Esther, don't go in, barrels loaded to unload years of maybe pent up resentment. I would first do that alone with the Lord and kind of just settle the matters with your heart, because it's possible that you've just maybe even for the best of intentions, because he works so hard, he's got a lot on his plate. I don't want to ask him to do more. You want to give him a day off too, but it's not really exactly a day off for you either. Now you're just ramping it up and watching him on his second cup of coffee with nothing more to do than get himself dressed. Meanwhile, if you're scrambling after 4 or 5 little kids and trying not to scream at them before you go to church on a Sunday morning, well, then maybe it's time to have a quiet conversation and ask for a new plan of attack, so to speak, a new strategy where you guys are both in this together, right? You didn't make those babies on your own, mama. You guys are welcoming these children as blessings from the Lord together. So the division of labor, especially in high traffic moments of the day, whatever stage of life you're at right now with your littles, and that's a time to say, babe, need you to step up and help, And honestly, this is how we roll. I truly believe that a good man is not going to take that as a slight on his masculinity at all, to do the bath time routine for the little kids, or to say, honey, I'll be in charge of the boys, you're in charge of the girls. And what time do I need to be in the van with everybody like strapped in? So here's the logistics side of this. Now that I know that I have my husband, willing and more certainly capable, my goodness, he's more than capable, perfectly qualified to help, coordinate 11 children getting into the van by 9:10 is the exact time. I say, if we're all in the van, backing up out of the driveway at 9:10, we will be comfortably at church. Our service starts at 9:30, and we'll be there on time. We won't be rushing in the door, kind of like, growling through my teeth at my children. So the way I set getting somewhere on time is I define when do I need to be where I need to be. So start with your goal. I want to be here by this time with maybe 5-10 minutes to spare. You know where you're going, what it's going to look like, but I'll just share with you the church analogy. I know I want to be there sitting in the pew at 9:25 and no later. So I start to work backwards. I've even sometimes taken a piece of paper because my brain sometimes can't hold it all. You get interrupted because somebody has a boo-boo. I work backwards and I just start to break it into time blocks. And I'm like, okay, if I want to be here at this point and I want to leave at least a 15-minute buffer for things to go wrong, then I back it up, and I back it all the way up to the time my alarm is going to go off. This is just really, it's planning. And if you put it on a piece of paper, and it's the same thing every week, eventually I don't even have to look at the paper anymore. I just get up at the alarm and go. I decide, well, what are we going to have for breakfast? Are we having a fancy breakfast and I'm actually going to bake something? Or are we just having dry cereal? So I break it into its chunks. I'm able to work its way backwards, and I divide and conquer. So my husband, in that same time frame, he's got a time to get up on a Sunday morning. We choose to set an alarm on Sunday morning. It's not a day of sloth. It's a day of spiritual rest. Like, we don't do our laundry and our grocery shopping, like the major household tasks. We do our best to honor a day of rest, the Lord's Day. And it begins with going to meet with the local Christians, to meet with our local church and worship and celebrate our God together on the day that he rose from the dead. So that's what it looks like for us. I've got my husband. Oh, hey, Malachi, would you stop for a second? I'm actually talking to my friends. Okay. Thanks. So he's in charge of the boys, and I'm in charge of the baby. Because right now I'm at a season of life where I have a 17-year-old, and she's in charge of the two little girls. She shares a room with a 5 and a 3-year-old sister. So that's actually like her main chore right now, is she's not got to, but she is, this is her thing that she does every day. We lightened up her other chores so that this was her main gig and we weren't taking advantage of her. So we use that. But in the early years before we had a 17-year-old, my husband and I would just be like, are you in charge of these kids? I'm in charge of these kids. We'll be at the at the breakfast table by a certain hour. And if all goes according to plan, we'll be out the door on time. Make sure that, when it comes to putting on shoes, I've got a laundry basket of everybody's fancy shoes. I just plop it out on a Sunday morning. Everybody grabs their stuff. I just break it down into a simple system of step 1, step 2. So right now, Dad hollers up. We use a baby monitor to the attic, from the kitchen to the attic, because our boys, all 6 boys, they'll be joined by their 7th brother this summer, are all up in the attic together. So he just gives them a friendly alarm, like a good half-hour window. He says, hey, boys, time to get up. Sunday. They know their Sunday clothes. And we have a buddy system we built. So if you have, capable, responsible older children, and even like an 11-year-old could help a 4-year-old, you have to work it out depending on the level of maturity of your older children. We have a buddy system where every younger child in our family has a Sunday buddy. A Sunday buddy helps them get dressed if they require help getting dressed. My 5-year-old, don't try to help her get dressed. Thank you very much. She's going to dress as tacky as she chooses. Thank you very much. And I don't try to fight that battle as long as she's like reasonably dressed, to my standard of Sunday clothes. Anyway, you might have your own standard. I don't worry too much if it matches. I just at least want her to have, something on. But when she gets home, she changes right away and puts on her favorite clothes. She likes to be more relaxed, more comfy clothes, and wear a baseball cap. So I just ask her on Sundays to wear, a skirt and a shirt kind of thing. And she likes to dress up once a week. She'll do it. So we have a buddy system in place. But if you don't have kids that are old enough to act like a buddy system to help people get dressed, get down from the table, get on their shoes, get buckled up safely, and then when we get to church, the same buddies, the older kids take their assigned little kid, help them take off their coat, help them get to their seat. Boom. If you don't have that, then it's going to be you and your husband. Divide and conquer, hun. Don't do it all yourself. That's all I have to say about that. The last tip I'll give real quick is I prepare the night before and even the week before. We do little Bible bags, like little miniature backpacks that are only for Sunday. And they have, depending on the age of the child, they have like a picture Bible or reading Bible if they're up to that level. So they have a Bible. They have a church notebook, actually something I've developed myself, and I can put a link below where they can actually like draw pictures if they're at the picture stage. They can take notes, and then we share it at lunch after church. We share that together and we have a conversation involving all of our children so that we can process together, and mom and dad can talk about what we learned at church today and just apply it to our lives in a way that applies to us. Oh my gosh, my hair, it's whatever. It's going there. So I prepare the week before by making sure that I have 5 little children backpacks. I keep them in a tote in the back of our 15-passenger van. And every week we take out their crafts that they did in Sunday school. We put them on the little clip system I have on the back of a door because I don't want those things cluttering up all over the place. That was last week's Declutter Your Kitchen Counter Challenge. So if you missed that, feel free to pop into the Big Family Moms group, link below. And you can do that. You could do that, like you could binge watch those in probably like less than an hour because they're short videos. Declutter Your Kitchen Counter, if it's covered with all your kids' stuff, especially if you're coming from church in Awana, crafts everywhere. That was super fun. So many women got their counters decluttered. I almost cried when it was over. I didn't realize it was going to mean so much to so many people. I just thought it was going to declutter your counter. I didn't think it was going to bring like hope and joy to their lives again. Whew, that was awesome. So off on a tangent, let's get back to the topic. I prepare their little backpacks the week before by getting up the old. I repack my little snacks that I keep for during church service because we stay in together the whole church service, and Sunday school is after. I have my little snackies, little fishies and craisins or whatever. And then I just fill up the water bottles in the morning and then boom, we go. So these are some specific things that I do. First, checking my heart to make sure that I'm not brimming with resentment towards my husband. And part of it is because I never really asked for his help or set the expectation of like the division of labor, like, hey, you do this and I do this. And if we both, just take care of responsibilities like perfectly capable, mature adults, will be on time. It'll be a low stress experience rather than high stress. We'll enjoy going to church rather than it being gritting my teeth to just perform a function or a duty. And instead, it'll actually be a place of more rest, even while I'm still shepherding and as a shepherdess would to her, young children. Harness your buddy system if that's even remotely possible, the stage of life that you're at right now. And honestly, my kids got used to it within a couple of weeks. It just needed some reminders of like who was their little buddy, and then they knew what to do. Get them dressed, get them to the table, get them in the van when I say go, and then get them to their seat. And then in reverse, when we go home after church, after Sunday school, because we do church and then Sunday school, pick up your little buddy at their class, get their coat on, get them in the van, done. Boom. And it's like a couple minutes for them, honestly, when you add it all up. But it's safety for me, and it brings all the stress down. So that might be something I haven't considered yet, is maybe you do have an older child who could be paired with your younger child, at least even to lighten your load, to help them put on their shoes, to help them put on their coat, to help them get buckled up. I mean, double check they did a good job, obviously, but you don't have to do it all on your own, mom. I mean, you might have a unique situation. I realize there's exceptions to every rule. But broadly speaking, if you have, like me, a husband and children who are, getting to the 10 and up stage, share the load, because God blessed you with your husband. God blessed you with your children, and he didn't just bless it in reverse. They're all blessed to have you, but you're not blessed in return to have them. So when it comes to the logistics of getting out the door, big family on time, check your heart, see what's going on there. Maybe you need to get some stuff out, have a talk with your husband. Set your goal of when you want to be there and work your way backwards. Maybe do it on a piece of paper so you can see, oh, maybe I do need to get up half an hour earlier, or maybe it would be smart for me to prepare breakfast the night before and actually just have the table half set. Or maybe I'm just going to divvy it up and give someone else the task of doing Sunday morning breakfast if you have an age capable child to do that. Or maybe Sunday morning is just going to be cereal because, hey, why not? Cereal, fruit, and yogurt, boom, done, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So before I check out, I just say, hi, Cindy, I'm going to read your comments here. Before you guys do home church, you're just doing a regular church, right? And every Saturday, cut everyone's fingernails, get it all done, eat something quick and go, right? Like, yeah, like preparing the day before. And maybe you think it's impossible because it just hasn't become a norm for you. But like I talked about in the Declutter Your Kitchen Challenge last week, if you've already decided something's impossible, you literally have told your brain, it won't happen. Don't do it. Conserve your energy. But if you believe that all things are possible through Christ who strengthens you and that you can learn new skills, you can get better at this, you can have a gracious conversation with your husband, he can grow and mature and take on more responsibilities. The man can hold down a full-time job. He can certainly help get the kids out the door on time on the Sunday morning, right? It's not a lack of ability, but it might just be a couple of tweaks in your conversation, your expectations, and even in the flow of your morning. You can change things. You can learn new skills. And by God's grace, you can do it smile on your face. So God bless you. I hope this has helped you. If you are catching this for the first time, you're like, hey, Big Family Mom, thank you so much. I'd like to get more of this, please. Feel free to jump into my Big Family Moms community. There's a link below. All kinds of free resources there available to help you, support you, grow in grace, grow in skill, even if you think it's impossible to do this Big Family Mom thing. And actually, have joy radiating from you more often than not. And have your kids really on board too. So God bless you. I'll see you in the group. Have a great day.